Since I am currently in 3 games of D&D, one as a Dungeon Master and 2 others as a player, I have gotten to see something really interesting play out right before my eyes. It's something that seems like it's pretty self-explanatory, like any player who's done D&D for a while should realize this, but honestly, I think this is something that needs to be addressed, and it comes down to kind of an interesting question. Would you rather have a long campaign or a short campaign? And the answer to that question comes down to this: character interaction. Hi there, everyone. Lars here from Camille's Harem. Not just a podcast for novice writers by novice writers, but also a YouTube channel by novice writers for novice writers. Because writing is an adventure, it's more fun with friends. And as I've said many times in the past, playing Dungeons and Dragons is a great way of learning how to tell a story. So if you're a novice author looking for great experience in seeing how you can make your stories better, how you can learn from other people, how you can do great character interactions, how you can do plot build-up, character development, world building, action sequences, all of this, the do's and the don'ts, playing Dungeons and Dragons is a great way of getting some hands-on experience. And what's been a lot of fun being in these 3 games is that I've been in a healthy mix of veteran players and newbies. In one game, it's mostly newbies who are playing. In another, we have like a really even mix of newbies versus veterans. And then in another game, it's all veteran players of Dungeons and Dragons. So this has been a whole lot of fun to see the different levels of playing. And here's the thing is that it doesn't really matter if a campaign is designed to be long or short. Players can still have a lot of fun so long as they bring their shared experiences there to the table, that they conduct a shared storytelling experience. However, what I've noticed is this, is that in one game with the newbies, where the new Dungeon Master has this amazing, huge campaign planned out, we're already just zipping right along through it. Meanwhile, where I am the Dungeon Master in another game, this game was meant to be concluded within anywhere between 5 to 8 sessions. We're already there, and the players are just now descending really into the depths of this incredible mummy dungeon. And it's interesting, how exactly did we have such a contrast right here? Why is it that one game with the newbies is just zipping along at hyperspeed? And why is it then that the other game is going along really slowly? The answer is character interactions. Are the players really getting into their characters and allowing them to become individuals and not just simply, hey, I'm developing my character? Are you interacting with the NPCs? Are you interacting with the other members of your party? Are you interacting with the Dungeon Master, getting to know more about the world and the people within it and the powers that be and everything else? This is ultimately what determines the length of a campaign. And I learned this my very first time being a Dungeon Master. I had this huge campaign planned out, and I wanted to blaze through it, and blaze through it we did. And the problem was that many of the players weren't quite enjoying themselves because they were just going all the time and didn't really have much of a chance to explore their characters and to explore the world. And so all the action sequences and the fighting were fun, and some of the big set pieces and whatnot were wow, and the plot was interesting. It was not engaging because the players and their characters were not engaging with the world itself. When you do this, engaging with the world, engaging with the characters, it naturally pumps the brakes and causes the story to slow down. That's not a problem at all. This is a great way for players to really enjoy what D&D is all about. Shared storytelling, that everyone has a chance to contribute to the story in their own fun and unique way, making their characters come to life, bringing in a whole bunch of personality, exploring things that the Dungeon Master might not have prepared, keeping the Dungeon Master on his or her toes. It is a ton of fun to go this route, and it is ultimately what prolongs a game. Now then, in the game with the newbies, it's not a problem that they're just zipping through everything and that the Dungeon Master is like, hey, this is great. We're zipping through content, we're fighting the bad guys, we're going to new places. That's all great and good, because at least so long as they're having fun, they're having fun. However, there's always more that can be experienced and enjoyed within a campaign if you pump the brakes and decide to engage in character interactions. And that is why in the other game that I, as the Dungeon Master, designed to be way shorter, has taken so long, because my players have decided to engage in full-on role-playing and are engaging in everything, talking to all the people, going to all the places, checking out all the things, being great detectives, being great manipulators, being great diplomats, businessmen, mercenaries, and just honestly having fun within this world. And that is great. That is a great shared storytelling experience. But as a result, that means that the campaign is taking longer than I originally planned. So that is something to consider as a Dungeon Master and as a player. What do you really want to get out of the game? How much interaction do you want? How much engagement do you want? How much character development do you want? What your answer will be will determine just how long your campaign goes. There is no set formula that will determine if your campaign is going to be a fast one or a short one. Believe you me, and I've played some campaigns that were designed to be short, designed specifically by the manual. Boom, you should be able to do this within a night. And then we were there for 4 sessions because of the characters. Now then, what does this actually mean for writing a story? The answer is that it's the exact same thing. The more you want to get to know the characters, the more interactions you want, then the longer the story is going to get. I think a really great example of this is the Fablehaven series. Brandon Mull does a phenomenal job of cramming in amazing worlds, amazing characters, amazing adventures, crazy action sequences, cool magic, wonderful twists, all within very short books. And there's so much that you can just enjoy reading Fablehaven. However, if you look at Fablehaven analytically, breaking down what you know about the characters, the core characters, Kendra and Seth, you understand them very well because we're getting to see the world from their points of view. They are the main POV characters. All the other characters you have very short, snappy interactions with. You know that Warren is the happy-go-lucky thrill junkie. You know that Grandpa is the sultry old man who is a survivor. You come to know that Grandma is the sweet, no-nonsense woman. And there you go. Those are their characters. How much you actually understand of who they are, what they like, what they don't like, is very, very minimal, and that is because of the character interactions with the story. Brandon Mull keeps it concise to only the most important stuff that you need, and thereby he's able to deliver this bombastic, fun story. However, if we then jump on over to the other Brandon Sanderson, who dives deep into his characters and everything, people are like, ooh, the world building of Brandon Sanderson, that's why his books are so big. No, I want you to go back, if you say that, and reread the Mistborn trilogy. Because in the Mistborn trilogy, while there's some incredible world building and some incredible set pieces and action sequences, so many of the chapters are just about characters interacting, characters engaging, whether that be in a thief hideout, at a ball, in a kitchen. You have an entire chapter that basically takes place in a kitchen as characters are just talking and eating. And you then know these characters so dang well because of that one kitchen chapter that eats up quite a bit of time. Brandon Sanderson pumps the brakes again and again and again in order for you to come to know who his characters are. And so, if you were to ask anyone to recall who on earth Sazed is from Mistborn, or what about Ham, or Breeze, or Kelsier, the people who have read the books will have so much to say about these characters, who they are, what they like, what they don't like, where do they come from, what are their backgrounds, what kinds of amazing heroic deeds did they have. Whereas if you talk about the side characters from Fablehaven, though that story is absolutely great and the characters are fun, there's a whole lot less to say about them because of the minimal character interactions that have allowed us as the readers to get to know who these characters are. And just like with a campaign, it doesn't really matter if it's short or long, so long as everyone is having fun and it's a good story. It's the exact same with writing. It doesn't matter if your story is short and concise and you only get to know a couple of characters really deeply, so long as the story's written well and the characters are written well. And it doesn't matter if you write a book that can smash small dogs, so long as that book is well written, the characters are well written, and everything is engaging, fulfilling, and fun. And so, in a way, whether you are a D&D player, or you're a dungeon master, or you're a novice author, I want you to take a moment, step back, get your head out of the weeds, walk away from the formulas, walk away from the manuals and all of that, and it becomes very simple. What kind of story do you want to tell? What kind of story do you want to be a part of? And based off of that, what kinds of character interactions do you want to have? Do you really want to get to know your character or your characters? And if so, then dive on into that. If you're more about the action and getting from point A to point B, okay then focus on how you're going to do that and make it engaging and fun. But as Nathan has constantly said on our podcast, a story lives or dies by its characters. The same goes for a book as it does with a D&D campaign. A campaign or a book are only as good as the characters within it. Whether that means that you're getting a whole lot of them or only a little bit, so long as what we do get of those characters is meaningful, is done well, and allows us to understand who they are, whether they be an angsty bad boy, someone searching for revenge, a princess out to prove herself, a peasant woman who is out to prove herself, or whatever. So long as we understand who these characters are and that they are executed well, whether as the dungeon master, as the player, as the novice author, that's within your power to do. A story lives or dies by its characters, and how much we get to know about those characters is what determines the length of a story or a campaign. Nothing else. You can try all the formulas you want, and if you overrush it, if you rush it too long, you will cause everything to fall apart. And if you just pump the brakes and don't go anywhere just in order to explore the characters, the story loses all of its savor, because a human life, a character's life, an alien's life is all about progression. Where are they going? And there you have it. Pretty sweet and simple. Like I said, this is something that for those who have played the game long enough, you realize, oh yeah, character interaction is one of the most important things to do, and that is absolutely what determines the length of a campaign. But it's something that I feel bears retelling, bears coming back to, so that way we do remember this crucial bit that makes the storytelling so good. It's all about the characters and character interaction. Alright, so that's all I've got to say on that matter right here. I'd like to know what your D&D experiences are. What has it been like for you to either be part of a really short campaign or a really long campaign? Share your experiences, because those are so fun. I love hearing from other D&D players what they have experienced, what they have learned, and especially if they are also novice authors. Or if you're a novice author and you're looking for more writing advice, then please let us know what you want to hear about in the comments section. You can also head on over to our podcast, Camille's Harem, or check out our writing exercises over at our Pinterest page. Links for that will be in the description. And if you would like to support us here, join us on this journey that we call writing, then please check out our other links below. Consider buying one of the books that we've published. That would seriously help us out a whole lot. But otherwise, we just thank you for joining us on this journey. And until the next video, y'all, tschüss.